Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be a hard game to get into mechanically, and for the most part it can be financially as well. Not everyone can afford playsets of the numerous $100 cards that are out there. But you already knew that, didn't you? Let's cut to the good stuff. 3 structure decks, $10 a week, 1 goal. Topping a Yu-Gi-Oh! Extravaganza. Can we do it with a deck considered to be rogue? This is Soulburning on a budget. Hi, hello, welcome to my new series, Soulburning on a Budget. The intro explained what I'm doing well, so I'll keep this part brief. Each week, I have $10 to spend on singles, and I want to try topping a Yu-Gi-Oh! Extravaganza. Have I ever done that before? No, I am not great at this game. You are going to see me lose games that I could have won, and that's okay. Everyone's got to learn from their mistakes at some point. The goal of this series is to show that anyone, even on a small budget, even if you're a nobody in the community like me, can top a large event with enough hard work and smart decision making. There's quite a few structure decks out there that are pretty good right now. The Egyptian God structures just came out, and I think they're somewhat good for what they are. The Shadal structure deck is probably the best structure deck to come out in the past few years. And I don't think the Ice Barrier structure deck is that bad considering it has some big synchro plays with Trishula. So why did I choose Salamangreats of all things? Well, the deck is relatively affordable and very hyped up right now. Mirage Salio at 1 isn't meta defining or anything, but it is a good tool that we can actually start out with the structure decks. And a lot of the basic cards I would need to buy aren't that expensive. A lot of the basic things for the strategy like Sunlight Wolf, Peril Exceed, or Potted Desires all have common or rare printings that are worth less than $1. This structure deck also comes with Ash Blossom of all things, so why not? This deck's whole strategy can revolve around playing a bunch of ghost second cards in case we lose the die roll, which is great. So, without further ado, let's open these bad boys up. So today, we've got 1, 2, 3 of the structure deck Soulburner. Found these off of eBay from a seller. It got here within like 3 days or so, which is actually incredible because they lived halfway across the country from me. The box got a little damaged. I don't know if you can see on camera there, but I did open this one up, see if it was all fine. It seems fine. Hopefully the other two aren't too banged up because they just seems like there's like corner damage and whatnot. This one seems like it has a little dent right here or something, but as long as everything inside is fine, then we're good. So let's open one of these up and see what we're getting ourselves into. Funnily enough, I need myself a new playmat, and so we're going to be using our paper playmat that comes in here. Alright, so we got a little piece of cardboard, or not, yeah, totally cardboard, a little piece of plastic here to keep everything together. The deck itself seems okay. Our paper playmat and a beginner's guide. My guide to topping the extravaganza. Let's go. Let's get the box out of the way. Here's the deck, gonna put it to the side. So, here's our playmat. It's got Mirage Salio, Heat Leo, and Balinks on it. It's got the extra monster zones, which is nice. It's only one player sided, which is unfortunate, but that's all fine and dandy. Let's actually crack open this deck. So, we have Salamangreat Heat Leo. For week 1, this is gonna be our big boss monster. It's got 2300 attack, it's a Link 3. If it's Link summoned, you can target a card in our opponent's spell and trap zone, shuffle it into the deck, and then once per turn, during our main phase, if it was Link summoned using itself, we can target one face-up monster on the field and one monster in my grave, and then the attack of the card we targeted becomes the attack of the monster in our grave. So let's say we target something and then target Balinks in our grave. Whatever we targeted on the field would become like 500 attack, which is really good. Oh, so we have Mirage Stalio. This card came back to 1 off of the ban list, and it is pretty good. Good way to get to Gazelle or Jack Jaguar or anything we need to just put in grave. It's a rank 3, so we can use like Gazelle or Foxy or what's the name, Spinny, to get him out, which is nice. We got Salamangreat Balinks, the Link 1 of the deck. It searches the field spell. That's all you really need to know about it. If one of our Salamangreat monsters on field would be destroyed, we could banish this instead. Very nice. Salamangreat Gazelle in Super. I have this in Ultra. This looks really weird to me. This is the best card in the deck. It's limited to 1. So we have a bunch of ways to search it out pretty much. Salamangreat Spinny, one of the best extenders of the deck. It's pretty good discard fodder for Signet Mining once we get that. Salamangreat Circle, also limited one. You can target a Salamangreat monster, and then it's unaffected by monster effects for the turn, except for its own. And then the other effect, which is probably what we're going to be using, is add one Salamangreat monster from the deck to the hand. This is pretty good because if you like activate Signet Mining on resolution, you get rolled, you could chain Salamangreat Circle. So it's pretty decent in that specific scenario. It's also just a way to get to whatever you need. Salamangreat Roar. This is the Omni Negate counter trap of the deck if we control a Salamangreat Link monster. And it also has another effect to set itself to the field, but banish it when it leaves, which is absolutely terrible. Salamangreat. Sorry, Salamangreat Raccoon. I don't think we're going to be playing this. Salamangreat Mole. This is a Pot of Avarice for the deck, so I'm definitely going to be putting it in week 1. Salamangreat Foul. This card's level 4, and if we normal or special summon a Salamangreat monster, we can special summon this, and then we can once per turn we can send one Salamangreat card from my hand or face up field to the grave, then target a set spell and trap that our opponent controls. That set card cannot be activated this turn. That effect's kind of terrible unless we just need something in grave, because they can always just chain whenever set. Salamangreat Beat Bison. This is actually pretty decent. Might play it at 1 because it's just a 28 beater and we don't have a lot of those in the deck. Salamangreat Mirror. If it's added to our hand except by drawing it for our normal draw, we can reveal this card, special summon it from our hand. That effect isn't that great, but the other effect is we can discard another Salamangreat card and then special summon this from the hand. So that's pretty okay. Salamangreat Foxy in common. I have this in Prismatic Secret. Jesus Christ. When this is normal, you can excavate the top 3 cards of our deck and then add one Salamangreat card among those to our hand, and then the others get shuffled back into the deck. It has a revive effect where if there's a face-up spell or trap on the field, we could discard a Salamangreat card and then special summon it, and then we could pop a spell or trap on the field. So this is pretty okay. Like, I don't know what I'm saying, it's pretty okay. It's pretty great. It's a level 3, so we can use it for Mirage Stalio. It's pretty awesome. Salamangreat Falco. I've never really seen the appeal of this card. It just seems like a brick to me. Jack Jaguar. This card's pretty okay. It has piercing on it, and it's an 18 beater, level 4. If it's in the graveyard, we can shuffle back a Salamangreat into the deck and then special it. It's pretty good. Salamangreat Wolvie. Don't want to read that because I've never played it. Salamangreat Pero, not that great. Foxer. Okay, here we go with some like generic stuff. True King Agnimazud the Vanisher, a 2900 beater. If it's in your hand, you can destroy two monsters in our hand and or field, including a fire monster. But then, if we destroyed 2 fire monsters for this effect, we can banish a card on the field. So this is, or banish a card in the field or graveyard. So it's really good for week 1 at least, because this can out Dragoon because it's non-targeting, and I believe it's on resolution that banishes a monster. So that's pretty nice. Dogorin the Mad Flame Kaiju. So this card, I don't know if I really have to explain this. It's a kaiju. It's a going second card. It's pretty nice. Flamvell Fire Dog. We're not going to be playing this. Fencing Fire Ferret. Also not playing that. Inferno. Old card. I used to play this when I was a little kid. Not good. Here is one of the best cards in this structure deck. This is Ash Blossom Enjoy Spring. When a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this card, negate the effect, add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, send a card to the graveyard from the deck, and it's hard once per turn. Red Resonator. When this is normal summon, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your hand. Pretty decent. Probably not playing it. Volcanic Shell. No way, no how. Oh, you get 2 shell. It's pretty neat. I think I was considering 4 Mud Skipper at a time for this, like putting it in the week 1 build, but I don't know. It would be decent because it would open up like say you need a relink, but you don't have the field spell. If you summon four mode skipper, you can just activate like its effect, reveal whatever you need from the extra deck, and then just link into that, and it will technically be link summoned using that as material. So I think it's pretty neat if you're desperate. Salamangreat Claw, an equip spell that we're not going to use. The field spell, only going to play this at 1. It's pretty good. This, I should elaborate. Salamangreat Sanctuary, if we control a Salamangreat monster, we can link it off as the whole material for itself, which is pretty good. It has another effect that we're never going to use because it's terrible. Will of the Salamangreat, it's a continuous spell. It's a once per turn monster reborn, or has another effect that no one likes to use. So let's say we have like our Sunlight Wolf on field. We can activate this, send it to graveyard, and then target Sunlight Wolf. And so we can special summon up to the target's link rating. So it would be a link to Monster Reborn, which is pretty good. Monster Reincarnation, not playing that. Circle of the Fire Kings, not the greatest, no. Transmodify, send one face up monster you control from the graveyard, special. It's not bad for getting Gazelle out, but I don't think we're going to be playing it. Linkbound, funnily enough, this can be our draw power. Salamangreat Rage, another one of the traps. This is a very disorganized structure deck. I don't know why Roar was all the way back here. This is basically a free pop 2. We control Sunlight Wolf, which is nice. Salamangreat Gift, not going to be playing that. Transmigration Prophecy, nah. Threatening Roar, this will probably hit the side deck because it stops your opponent from declaring an attack. Break Off Trap Hole, also probably going to hit the side deck. Backfire. Goes in match is pretty good because we only have fire monsters really. So like it might be good if we are forced to go first. If you're on a budget, may I recommend Dragon Shield. I usually get the pink matte sleeves because I think they're pretty good. Yeah, there's nothing much to say about it. It's pink matte sleeves. They're about $10, so you get 60 of them. Can't cover your side deck as well, so you might need a few more. And then when I first started out this game, I would always get these $2 GameStop deck boxes. It's $2. It's a deck box. It will fit your deck in it. It's not the nicest thing in the world, but it exists. So it's what we're gonna be using. So yeah. I guess I'm gonna crack open 3 of these and see what I can do with them. Whoa. What? This is a misprint. I got 3 Bailings from 1. What? That's... holy shit. Wait, let me make sure the other 2 let me make sure. I'm pretty sure. What? Yeah. These came with multiple... What? What in the hell? Alright, got the deck profile for you guys. I'm probably not going to explain what these cards do for the most part because I already went into some details in the card by card. So to start us off, we have Foul, just a pretty good special summon. It's a level 4, so we can't really make Mirage Sally with it, but it's fine. Just another body for Heatleo. 3 Salamangreat Mole, Pot of Avarice, pretty simple. Free special summon as well if we linked. Spinny, a very standard Salamangreat card. Same with 3 Salamangreat Foxy. Onto the 2-ofs, we have 2 Salamangreat Jack Jaguar. And onto the 1-ofs, we have the one and only Salamangreat Gazelle. Wish it was at maybe even just 2. It would be nice. But it's limited, so. And then Salamangreat Mirror and Salamangreat Beat Bison. So that's it for the Salamangreat monsters. we have, for the generic monsters, we have 3 True King Agnimizid, the Vanisher. This thing can out Dragoon. It's a 2900 beater. Not much to say about it there. 3 Dogorin, the Mad Flame Kaiju. It's a Kaiju. That's all you really gotta say. 3 Ash Blossom. It shuts down our opponent's place going second. I mean, 6 going second cards. Pretty nice. On to the spells. We have 3 Will of the Salamangreat. It's continuous spell, Monster Reborn for the deck. Pretty nice. On to the oh, no. Sorry, I had these out of order. On to the next one. We have 3 Link Bound. This returns a Link monster to the extra deck, and we draw cards equal to Link rating and then put them back equal to Link rating. I think it's pretty good. It's alright. It can sculpt our hand if we draw it, so that's nice. Onto the one-of spells, we have 1 Salamangreat Circle and 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary. Pretty standard. Circle's at 1, and we don't need more than 1 Sanctuary, so. Onto the traps. We have 3 of each of the Salamangreat traps that are relevant. We don't play Gift or anything like that. Rage lets us pop 2 cards essentially, and Roar is our counter trap. So yeah, that's the 40 card main deck for the extra. Yeah, for the extra deck. Okay. Oh, I forgot I sort these. 1 second. All right, for the extra deck, we have 3 Flame Administrator. Generic 2 Cyburst Link 2 boosts all of our Link monsters by 800 attack. It helps if we have this in case we need a Link 2 to go into. Ideally, we'd have Sunlight Wolf, but we just don't have Sunlight Wolf this week, so it's whatever. 3 Doolittle Chimera. Pretty much the same thing as Flame Administrator. I think I prefer Flame Administrator though. Like, this thing's artwork is not that fun. That's pretty much the only reason. That it's not that big of a difference doing either of those. So 3 Salamangreat Baylinks. It's the Link 1 of the deck. We're probably always going to be playing 3 of it. It's just nice. It offers protection and everything. Our boss monster, 3 Salamangreat Helio. It's a Link 3. It's pretty easy to get over monsters that they don't have monster effect negation. And to round it out, I believe our 13th card is Salamangreat Mirage Salio. It's at 1 on the ban list. It just came back to 1. It gives us a lot of great access to stuff like Gazelle, or like Foxy or Jack Jaguar, whatever Salamangreat card we need from deck. This gets us it, so it's nice. Alright, for the side deck, we didn't really have much choice for a side deck, but I put in what I could. 3 Break Off Trap Hole. When a linked monster is link summoned, destroy all monsters on the field that are not linked. It's pretty decent for what it is. I don't think I'm going to use it. 3 Threatening Roar. This card has 1 line of text. It just says your opponent cannot declare an attack this turn. That's pretty useful. Could probably save me. And for the final playset of traps on the side, I have Gozen Match. Each player can only control 1 of each one attribute of monster. Send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. So we only have fire attributes in the entire deck, so it doesn't affect us. It might affect our opponent if they, like, I don't know, if they have a monster on field and they want to link into something else, they just can't. It's nice. So that wraps up the deck profile. Not much to say about it. I mean, next week we'll probably have Sunlight Wolves and just enough to like actually do something going first. So yeah, that's pretty nice. I guess on to the remote duel tournament. Round 1, I played against Dogmatica Shaddoll. They probably had Invoked in there as well, but I guess they didn't see it. Unfortunately, we rolled Snake Eyes, so they chose to go first. They start off with a Nadir Servant, sending one of the Fossil Warrior fusions and adding Maximus. They then do something that's admittedly a little silly and normal summon Ash, linking it off into Almirage, and then secure Gardna. They then summon Maximus by banishing Almirage and activate Maximus's effect. Doing this allows them to trigger their App Cologne's effect in Graveyard, searching Schism and sending Forbidden Droplet from their hand. From there, they simply set 2, went to the end phase, and activate Titanic Cloud's effect, searching for Ecclesia. I start my turn off by using Link Bound in the standby phase, returning my Flame Administrator that was sent off of Maximus, and drawing 2, and then shuffling back 2 cards into our deck. Proceeding to main phase, I normal summon the Jack Jaguar, and on summon, they activate the Schism. This is pretty much what I wanted them to do, because summoning the window would normally put us in a tight spot, but luckily I have the Dogrin in hand to out it. Linking off the Jack Jaguar, I get Balinx, and on the Balinx effect, my opponent hits us with the Fleur-de-Lis, negating the effect. From there, I activate Salamangreat Circle like the skilled salad player I am, and grab Salamangreat Foul, which eventually gets me to a Heatleo, but the Heatleo gets hit with Droplet. We have to overextend here not to lose the game outright, so we use Spinny effects to special itself, and then do the same thing with Jack Jaguar to special itself out. I then use the Heatleo and 2 other monsters to make another Heatleo, targeting his Fleur-de-Lis and our Mole Engrave to make Fleur-de-Lis attack the same as Mole's, which is 0. I then proceed to battle phase and hit over his Fleur-de-Lis for 2300 damage. With nothing else I can really do, I pass there. Since I didn't get rid of the Maximus or the Kaiju I gave him, he's able to just use Maximus, send Entis to pop the Heatleo, which I negate with Balinx. But, if you remember, he had the Fossil Warrior fusion from the first time he activated Maximus. It has an effect Engrave to banish itself and pop a card in the field, so he uses it to pop my Heatleo, and from there, game 1 is a wrap. Game 2 I opt to go first, but I don't think I opened good at all. I end up normal summoning the Foul, linking into Balinx, and getting ashed. From there I link bound to Balinx, draw 1, and set 2 pass. He draws for his turn and summons a Calacia, which searches punishment. Setting 1 card in his back row, he goes to the battle phase and pokes me for 1500 life points before passing to me, with 4 cards in his hand. I draw for my turn, and in the standby phase I activate Rage, pitching Foxy and popping the back row. I did in fact hit their Dogmatic punishment. In my main phase, I activate Will of the Salamangreat, summoning back Foxy and linking off Foxy for Balinx. I activate Balinx's effect, and this time it actually goes through, grabbing me Salamangreat Sanctuary. Though I didn't really have any plays after that, so I simply passed there. He starts his turn off by summoning Fleur-de-Lis and negating the Balinx. On resolution I flip Gozen Match, which in reality doesn't really do anything, but I didn't want him to snowball monsters onto the field and kill me. But eventually he just summons another Calacia and Fleur-de-Lis on a following turn and wins the game from there. There was a point where he had his 4 monsters going into the battle phase, but I flipped Threatening Roar, which saved me for a turn, but ultimately I just lost anyways. Round 2 I win the die roll and choose to go first. I start off by normal summoning Foxy without effect and immediately go into Balinx, triggering Balinx and grabbing the field spell from deck and activating it. From there I summon Mole, activate Foxy's graveyard effect pitching Jack Jaguar, then triggering the effect of Gazelle on resolution since Jack Jaguar was sent. With Gazelle's effect, I send Spinny because I wanted to have a way of getting the traps back. I then link off Mole for another Balinx, overlay the Foxy and Gazelle for Mirage Stalio, and use Mirage Stalio's effect detaching Gazelle to summon Foul from deck. I use Foul in the 2 Balinx to summon Heatleo, and then I relink the Heatleo. After that, I accidentally make an illegal play. So if you didn't know, Salamangreat Mole reads, if you control no monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target 5 Salamangreat cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 2 cards. I had misread the card at the time thinking I could banish it whenever, and only until after the duel did I realize my mistake. So I accidentally get a free Pot of Avarice while I have my full board on field. I'll make sure not to do this again as I now know what I did wrong and when I can actually use the effect. So to continue the recap of the match, I believe I drew into 2 copies of Ash Blossom and had Rage in hand already. So I set the Rage in pass, feeling confident about the board. They activate Drytron Alpha, tributing Gamma to special summon itself and search a ritual monster, but I ash it. They activate the Gamma in Grave, tributing Alpha and summoning itself an Alpha from Grave, and then they overlay the 2 for Lyrilusk Assembled Nightingale. I know this card can attack directly for free, so I know they're probably trying to make a 4 material Zeus. So I let them go to battle phase, hit me for 800, and in the main phase 2 they overlay for Downward Magician on top of their Lyrilusk, and I know that they could just make Zeus. So I used the Rage here, popping the Downward Magician. With that resolving, I dealt with the Zeus before it could even become a problem. I used Preparation of Rites to add Benten, and then they just pass, saying that they misplayed. I'm not the biggest Drytron player, so I don't know what they could have done in this situation, but their board is empty, leaving me with the opportunity to snowball all of my extenders back onto the field on the following turn and OTK my opponent. Game 2 going second, I opened the Kaiju in the starting hand, which is great. Except they weren't going to end on a Herald of Ultimateness, but rather Vanity's Ruler. If you don't know, Vanity's Ruler is a level 7 card that makes it so your opponent cannot special summon. So I can't use the Kaiju because Kaiju special summon themselves to your opponent's board. With no real way to out it, I have to simply concede and go to game 3. Game 3, I opt to go first and go through some standard Salamangreat plays. Summoning Foxy without using its effect allows me to link into Balinks, grab the Sanctuary, and activate it. I then use Foxy's effect in Grave, pitching Jack Jaguar, which goes through, summoning Foxy. I'm eventually able to get to a Heatleo by summoning Mole, linking it into Balinks, and then linking the two Balinks and Foxy for Heatleo. Relinking the Heatleo allows me to activate Link Bound, targeting the Heatleo in Grave, drawing 3 and shuffling back 3. I didn't see anything useful from the Link Bound. I already had Rage in hand, and I believe I saw Ash, another Rage, and Will of the Salamangreat. So I shuffle back the 3 I drew, and then set the Rage and pass. Through some basic Drytron plays, they're able to get Diviner on field, then use the Diviner to send Entis, and they target Heatleo with Entis. Being the idiot I am, and forgetting about Balinks, I chain Rage to pop the 2 monsters they have on the field, and then on resolution I protect the Heatleo with Balinks. I could have saved the Rage for later, but I just misplayed, and that just happens sometimes. I'm not the greatest at the deck, and I want to improve at it. Eventually my opponent is able to climb into a Nightmare Unicorn, discarding Edaten to shuffle back the Heatleo, and attacks me for 2200 damage in the battle phase. I think they didn't have any fairies in hand, because they could have just summoned the Ultimateness, but they chose Unicorn instead. They pass on just Unicorn, so during my turn I activate the Mole, shuffling back 5 and drawing 2. Eventually I am able to climb into Heatleo, destroy the Unicorn, and off of my draws for Mole I got a copy of Rage to set up for the follow-up on their turn. I don't think they drew anything good for turn because they just passed it right back to me. I use Spinny's Graveyard effect to special summon itself, then I use Heatleo's effect targeting my Spinny on field and the Heatleo in Grave, making Spinny 2300 attack. With nothing else I can really do, I hit my opponent for 4600 damage and pass, which, thankfully, our opponent didn't draw into anything good and concedes. So yeah, we actually got a dub with the week 1 deck. I really wasn't expecting it. I did get really lucky with my opponent not having any real plays outside of the Unicorn, and having the 2 Rages that I drew on the 2 separate occasions. Round 3, I lose the die roll and I'm going second. They're playing Tri-Brigade and start off by normal summoning Rescue Cat, using its effect to tribute itself and then summon Karos and Kit to the field, and then using the Karos and Kit to link summon into Fairjeet. Using Kit's effect, they send Nerval, triggering the Nerval's effect, adding Fractal. They use Fairjeet to summon the Fractal, and then using Fractal's effect, they banish 2 from Grave to summon out Bear Broom. From there, they link everything off into a 3 material Apollousa, triggering Bear Broom as Chainlink 1 and Fairjeet as Chainlink 2, allowing them to draw a card and put one from their hand onto the bottom of the deck, then searching out Tri-Brigade Revolt. They set 3 pass, and I honestly do not see a way to play through it. I'm eventually able to get to a Heatleo using most of my extenders, but it gets Solemn Striked. And they still had Revolt and 2 Apollousa negates left, so I was just playing out of options. On to game 2. Game 2, I opt to go first, and I'm eventually able to get to a board of Heatleo with 2 set, one of them being Rage. But me, being the idiot I am, didn't realize you had to relink your Rage target, so I couldn't activate Rage the way I wanted to. My other back row was Gozen Match and allowed me to live a few turns and set up a board of Heatleo and Roar set. My opponent tried linking into Nightmare Phoenix at a point and popping a back row, but I chained the Roar to it, which our opponent decided to scoop there because they didn't have much resources and were dead on the following turn. Game 3, I don't have much to say about because I absolutely bricked. I was forced to go second and opened 2 Roar, Will of the Salamangreat, Rage, and Link Bound, and then for turn I top decked another Will of the Salamangreat. So I auto lost because of it. Alright, so not so bad for week 1. Clutching out a single round is about as good as it gets for 3 structure decks. Obviously there's a ton of room for improvement, but we'll get to that next week. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to let me know in the comments what you liked and disliked. I'm always looking for improvement and I'd really appreciate your feedback. Also be sure to like and subscribe. I'll be trying to get an episode of this out at least once a week, so stick around. With that, I'll see you guys next week. Take care.